right, what up? This is Joe, and from me to you, with me is Northeast Mississippi Community College all-time leading scorer, rebounder, and shot blocker. His number 32 jersey has since then been retired by the school. After transferring to Mississippi State, he was named MVP of the 1996 SEC Men's Basketball Tournament. To continue on, he was drafted in the first round of one of the most historic NBA drafts in history, as well as CBA 2008 scoring champion. He was recently inducted into the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame in 2016 and is currently program director at NYBA, Tennessee's largest youth basketball organization. My guest today, Dontae Jones. What up, Tay?
What's up with it, Joe?
Man, nothing much. What's going on?
I appreciate you having me, man.
Man, I appreciate you joining me. So I reached out to you, you know what I'm saying? You responded back. I definitely appreciate that, man.
No, I'm just trying to be an asset. You know, anytime you're in my position, you want to be that asset, and I see you got a good thing going forward. Let's just see how we can benefit those listening.
Dig that. I appreciate it. All right, well, let's go ahead and kick it off. So I guess to get it started so we can kind of get a better understanding of who Dontae is, tell me a little bit about your parents. Who are your parents? Where they grow up? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm a Nashville. I'm a Nashville kid through and through. My parents grew up in North Nashville. As a youth, we kind of migrated to the east side. I guess if you're Nashville or familiar with our city, the North Nashville to East Nashville transition was a thing that was going on in the mid '70s, where the younger generation that were having the babies end up on the East Nashville. So we're North Nashville bound, but I'm an East Side kid. My parents both went to Stratford and Maplewood High School, so like you say, everything is going to revolve around the East Side. But I'm just like I said, I'm a Nashville kid through and through. We grew up in Cayce Homes, which to most people know at one time was probably the most notorious inner city projects in Nashville, if probably not Tennessee. And just to be part of that upbringing and to have both parents in that type of upbringing, like I said, we didn't have a whole lot. It wasn't about us having a whole lot, but I had my mom and dad there, visible every single day. But growing up in that environment kind of molds your future if you are able to make it out. And fortunate enough, my upbringing didn't hold me back into my future success somewhat.
Definitely, no, upbringing definitely builds character for sure.
Yes, sir.
So tell me, I guess you said you have siblings as well. Where do you kind of fall in your family?
Well, we like I said, we're just a regular. My mom worked 2 jobs growing up. My dad, and like myself today, was a neighborhood coach, the football coach in the neighborhood, and kind of the community barber. He was a guy who's more of a civil servant more than anything at that time. Like I say, it's late '70s, early '80s, so it's just a different time and day. And then you're in the inner city, you don't get that many male influences around, especially in those projects like that. And then he just happened to be one of the few. And while my mom was going out there grinding and making sure she did what she had to do, he was on the opposite side trying to be as beneficial as he could. And like I said, I kind of watched it from both sides. You're a little selfish in your upbringing when you see your parents, benefiting more or doing more for others than you think they should be doing for yourself. And him being a coach in the community, someone that the young men recognized and fell upon, because in somewhat of myself, seeing how he raised myself and my brothers. I got 2 brothers and a sister. I always had a couple of cousins that stayed with us at all times. You know what I mean? So we, I guess they kind of seeing how he handled us, and then they leaned on him for certain things. So, like I said, just him being who he was, probably the way that he handled that situation, not being so, I would say, affluent. You know what I mean? He didn't have riches and so much in the resources part of it, but mentally he was there. He was always there, and he had enough discipline to understand how to make it all work. And my mom just, like I said, I saw her hard work and dedication and kind of watched it all and kind of molded myself. But they were just general parents, caring, loving, made sure that we had the best of what we could have, and nothing more than that. But they did do a lot more for others than they probably could or should have, considering what we had. But like I said, leading on down the line, it kind of molds you to a person. When you do have a little bit, you share, and you rather aid in the bet than anything. And, like I say, they just hard work in general. My mom passed away not too long ago, but like I say, those lessons and just kind of watching her, from my whole life just kind of molded the work ethic. It probably carried over in my sports.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, condolences to your mother.
Yes,
as well.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, because definitely the stuff that you instill in children, like they said, the verse, it kind of goes a long way, follows them through life. So that's definitely good. So I guess tell me about your childhood. What was like the best part? What was the worst part, you would say?
Really not a worst. I wouldn't go that way with it, because it was, you're a kid. It is, you got your brothers and sisters, you got your family. You don't know much of what you know, but we made the best of it. I mean, and being that my dad, once I got old enough to play sports, being that he was so heavily involved and then he coaching and things like that, made me more of a community kid. It made us more of a community family than normal, so we were accepted a little different. I guess kind of watched over and watched that a little bit different at the time. So, that it really wasn't less joy. It's just we didn't know any better, so we enjoyed every bit of it. And once I got to teenage years, you start to see a little different when you get in middle school. You start to see what you don't have and what those do have, and you just kind of start seeing things a little different. But as a kid coming up in those projects in Cayce Homes, man, I mean, I don't think I would trade any of it, because it molded to who we were. But it was pure joy and fun because that's all you could expect. You didn't have too much out of the ordinary to wish for, so you appreciated the little that you did have. And then when you got, like I said, we had two parents, my mom and dad both there, and then you got him being, who he was in the community like that. I mean, you have no choice but to enjoy the little bit that you had. So we thought we had something. We knew we didn't have everything, but it was a lot more joy than it was negative, as a youth.